Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tuesday Night Live on a Wednesday. Hope everyone had a good week and that you saw my message last night saying that it was way too hot in my studio to go live, so we'd try it today. It's not really very much cooler. However, there is a nice breeze blowing through the window, so that's going to help us some. So let's go ahead and see if we can find the comments here. Oh, look, I popped up. Yay! And then there we go. Okay, so we'll see who jumps on and then we'll get started. Hi, Tracy. My studio is about 2 degrees cooler tonight, but there's a nice wind outside, so I opened up the window. It's already went up a degree since I came in, of course, with all the lights and everything. So I've got a fan going and the wind is blowing through the window, so hopefully it won't get too much warmer in here. Okay, so tonight is all about sneak peeks of upcoming products. So we're going to try to make two projects, one 3D and one other, one card, and we'll try to get through it in an hour, but you know, I'm slow crafter, so we'll see how that goes. All right, so first off, let's talk about the in color products sale. Just a reminder, that is 15% off on most of the items that have any of the 2025 to 2027 in colors in them. So be sure to check that out on the website. Most of the products are 15% off that contain those colors. The one item that definitely is not is the virtual album retreats. So be aware of that. And you can check that sale out by going to the menu, then checking, going down and hitting specials, and then you'll see the 25 to 27 in color products, and everything on that page is on sale. Hello, Cynthia. Thank you so much for joining. Okay, so some of the products that we're going to be using tonight are from the mini catalog, I believe, and some are from the September 2025 online exclusives product list. Okay, can't show you the insides of these until these go live on September 3rd. So thank you for all the emojis. Appreciate that. So let's go ahead and get started right away, because our first project is a 3D, and my friend Tracy challenged me to make this. Actually, my friend Tracy challenged me to make both of these products, these things tonight. Hello, Laura. So what we're going to be using tonight, we're going to be combining some old product. Well, not old product, but you know, it's current, some current product that you can buy right now today if you don't already have it. And then some items that are coming on September 3rd. So we're going to start with the More Than Autumn Suite. I don't want you to forget that this is here. This is an awesome set. If you don't have it, you need it, because this is not just for people who drink coffee. You've got cocos and teas and whatever. And I'm going to show you, anybody who wants to eat donuts, you got it right here. That's what we're going to do tonight. And then it has some coordinating dies. And we're going to use the entire bundle. This is still available as a bundle. What? Oh no, HP, you did not. My computer decided to restart itself. Hang on just a minute. Oh, so frustrating. I don't know why it decided it needed to restart itself, but I can't see any comments at the moment. So that is so frustrating. I had problems getting onto it earlier. It had already updated. Okay, now it's just going to be stupid. Okay, so we're also going to be using the Gathering Moments bundle. This is coming in the September online exclusives. Come on, computer, work. Restore pages, restore. Oh, it's going to make me mad. Okay, let's see if it's going to make me do something that I can't do because I'm online. All right, so we've got the Gathering Moments. Hang on, you guys, I have to log into Facebook. There we go. Maybe now I can, come on, give me my comments. Thank you. Okay, the donuts can be bagels, and who doesn't like pie? That's such a great idea. I didn't think about that, Tracy. Bagels. That is such a good idea. Okay, so in addition to the Gathering Moments cling, this is a cling mount stamp set, which means it's red rubber. Okay, you get 13 cling sets, and then it has this die set, and there are 11 dies in here, and you get these great big dies. We're going to be using this die later for another project because that's what Tracy challenged me to figure out. And so we're going to be using this bundle. And then we're also going to be using the traditional labels. This is coming in the September to December holiday mini catalog. It does have a coordinating stamp set called Traditional Labels. So this is one of those, if you don't think you need any more Christmas sentiments, you could easily go unbundled and just get the dies. Okay? So this will be in the September to December mini, and we are using the dies tonight, not the stamp set. Okay? And then specifically, we're going to be using this die, and I've already cut that from Early Espresso cardstock, and hopefully, let me see if that will focus and you can see, hello Jennifer, the details along the edges of that die. Each one of these dies has some decorative stitching. Let's see, can you see that? Yeah, maybe you can right there on the edge. Okay, so we're going to be using that. And let's go ahead and get started. We don't have a lot of stamping to do, but we do have some. And just so you know, I did already die cut all of these. So our colors for this project, we're going to be using Mossy Meadow. And with the Mossy Meadow, we need 2 of this sleeve. And this is one of those that we call distinctive. So you're going to get lights and darks when you stamp this, and you need 2 of those. Okay, Mossy Meadow. And then I don't need the pecan pie at the moment. I need, what do I need? Hang on. I do need the pecan pie. What am I thinking? I'm all discombobulated because my computer was freaking out on me. Yep. Okay, so we need 1 acorn, 2 leaves, and then from the More Than Autumn, we need the donuts. Okay. And so we've got Memento Tuxedo Black, and you'll need 2 donuts. Okay. Now, let's do our sentiment while we're at it. I'm just going to show you how I did it. I've already fussy cut it, but let's go ahead and grab a scrap piece here. This will work. Right here is all we need. And from More Than Autumn, remember, that's this set right here. There's all kinds of sayings in here. So we're going to make our own. So we're going to take early espresso ink to start. And we're going to take the word fall. And we're just going to stamp this down. So we've got fall. And then we're going to take our old olive ink. And I have the sentiment that says, this calls for. Now, I do not want the word this. So I'm going to take a Post-it note, in my case, mint tape. I'm going to take my old olive ink, and I'm going to go from the end that says for, and I'm going to set that on the edge of my old olive ink pad, like that. And I've masked it so I didn't have to worry about it getting on. Now I'm going to pull this off. That's the key. And then I'm going to take the calls for, which it doesn't look like I got enough ink on for. So let's tap that again. And then we're going to do calls for. And then we're going to get the pecan pie. And the word donuts. And we're going to just put that down there like that, so that we have a sentiment that says fall calls for donuts. Okay? And then we're going to fussy cut that. Okay? And voila, this is what it looks like. Okay? Fall calls for donuts. Let's set that aside for a minute. Got those. Okay. We're going to bring this in and we're going to do a little bit of coloring. So we're going to take our Stampin' Blends. I'm going to take the Deep SU100. This is from the Natural Tones collection. And I'm going to color one of these donuts along the edge here. To make this look kind of like a chocolate donut. Okay. And for my chocolate donut, I left the frosting white. And then I'm going to take light crumb cake. And I'm going to color my other donut in light crumb cake, so that it looks like a cake donut. Okay. And then I'm going to give it some Calypso Coral frosting. So I'm going to color this in. I'm going to go around the edge here. And then the center edge. Okay. I'm going to take my dark Calypso Coral. And I'm just going to throw a little bit of that around the edge, here and there. I don't have to do the whole thing. Just going to put in a little bit of shading. And then I'm going to go back with my light and bring those two together for a blend. Okay. So now I have my pieces that I need to finish this off. Now, for this, I've got dies for all of these. Not that one, this one. So I can do this and my acorn And then from the More Than Autumn, I've got my donut. Now, when you're doing your donut, you've got 2 lips on your donut. And so you're going to have to try both sides to see how that goes. And then just take those and cut them out, run them through your die cut machine. And then you'll have the pieces that you need for our card. Okay? So you need 2 of the leaves. I've already put these 2 together. 2 of the leaves and an acorn, and I did that with mini glue dots. Okay? And then we need 2 donuts, which apparently I left this so I could cut it for you. So let me cut that because I didn't cut the second one out. Silly me. Okay, let's put this in. I think I've got to go this way. There we go, just like that. It doesn't necessarily go the way you think it should, actually. Sorry about that. I thought I had that done, but apparently I did not cut it. Because I thought, oh, I'll show you how to cut those. But we're only going to cut the donut because that's all we need. Okay, and then I'll have those other ones for another project. Okay. All right, so that's all of our pieces now. And we'll put that away so we don't lose it. Because nobody wants to lose their donut die. Okay, that is not cooperating. Let's get that out of the way. All right, so we've got these. Now, these are all of our pieces that we need. And this is what we're going to make our box from. I made this template so that it would fit specifically these little Hostess donuts. Hostess calls them donuts to go, and I got a box of 32 of these packages. There's 16 of the white and 16 chocolate donuts in each box at Costco. So I wanted to make a box for those. Okay, the only way I could get 2 out of a sheet of cardstock was to make the double fold over flap box and to use 12 by 12 paper. So we're using a piece of 6 by 12 inch paper. And this is the 2-tone cardstock, and I have Mossy Meadow. I'm going to use the lighter Mossy Meadow side, but you could use the darker one just as easily. So I'm going to put this in at the 6-inch side. Oh, this computer is driving me crazy. Are you guys doing okay? My computer shut down again. Why it's doing that, I don't know. So I can't see your comments. Sorry about that. Okay, so we're going to score on the 6-inch side at 2 inches. And you could do 4, but I'm going to flip it around and do 2 inches on each side. Okay? Let's see if I can get back on this stupid computer. Okay, you know what I'm going to... No, I don't have my iPad in here. Okay, I am so sorry, you guys. I do not know what is going on with this stupid computer. Why does it keep shutting down? Okay. All right, let's see. I think I got it up again. Let's see how long it stays up before the stupid thing shuts down again. It's going to make me mad. All right, so here's our template. All right, so we're going to we're going to score this at 1 3/4. 3 3/4, 7 1/4, and 9 1/4. So again, 1 3/4, 3 3/4, 7 1/4, and 9 1/4. Okay, and then we're going to flip this way so that you have a smaller section here and a larger section here. Okay, wait a minute, I'm going to do that on the trimmer. Never mind, it's easier on the trimmer. Okay, let's not do that. We'll just do it on the trimmer. Okay, so now we're going to fold and score on all these score lines. I'm going to fold the opposite direction first, because if the paper's going to crack, I want it to crack on the inside, not the outside. I'm not going to give it a super big fold with my bone folder. I just want to fold it in the one direction to bend the paper fibers so that if it's going to crack, it cracks on the inside, because that's where I don't care. I'd really rather it not crack on the outside, because then you see a white core. However, if you see the white core, it's no big deal. You just take your Stampin' Blend in that coordinating color and color it, and you'll be fine. Okay, so now that we have this, these two sections right here that are squares, or mostly squared, those are going to be our glue tabs. So we're going to cut up on the long rectangles on either side of those. Okay. To make our glue tabs. So we'll just do that on both sides. Okay, now we're going to bring in our trimmer, our paper trimmer. And I'm going to fold in the top, middle, and bottom. I'm going to line this up at the 3/8 inch mark right here, and I'm going to slice that off. That's going to leave me just enough for my tear and tape. And I'm going to keep these because they're great for small die cuts. So again, top, middle, bottom, fold in on the other side, and cut again at the 3/8 inch mark. Now, while you're here and you have this large section at the top, go ahead and push this under. Actually, you can do it either way. No, I need it this way. Yeah. Okay, and then we're going to take our marking tool here. I'm getting ink. Let me move my inky stamps out of the way. Okay, I'm going to put this at the 3/4 inch mark. And in this track, I'm going to put just a mark on each end. Okay, just marking it. I'm not scoring, I'm just marking. All right. And then I'm going to take my paper trimmer and I'm going to put the score line here and my mark here that I just made with my scoring tool in the track, in the cutting track. And I'm going to slice that off. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. Again, my score line and my mark, and cut that off again. Okay, that's just going to help this fold into my box better. All right, now before I go any further and trim these out, I'm actually going to put my tear tape on first. Okay, that's going to make it easier for me to put the tear tape on, because I've got a straight edge both ends. So then I can just add my tear tape. Now you could use any strong glue here. I prefer tear tape. Tear-in tape is actually what they call it. And I'm just going to put this right here on those 4 little tabs. Okay, that's all the adhesive that we need. And then to ensure that that sticks well, I'm going to go back with my bone folder and burnish that. Okay. All right. Now here's where we need to add our you know what? I don't think I cut it. Our designer series paper. Oh well, I'll cut it right now real quick for you. So I'm taking a piece of paper from the Gathering Together 12 by 12 specialty designer series paper. Okay. I'll give you a quick, I went through this on my unboxing the other night, so I'll just give you a quick flip through here so you can see those patterns. Hopefully you can see those. Okay, this is a specialty designer series paper, and I recommend when you're doing this, take your 12-inch side of your paper. I've already cut off some, so we're going to go with the top, and I'm going to cut this at 1 7/8 because I want my lines to run right to left, not up and down, and I need 1 7/8. Okay, I'm not sure how many of those I'm going to need because, okay, so then I need 2 of these that are 1 7/8 by 1 7/8. So I'm going to cut those at 1 7/8, and you can't see that. Okay, so I need those 2 at 1 7/8 by 1 7/8 inch square, and then I need 2 that are 1 7/8 by 3 3/8. So 3 3/8. All right, so need another 1 7/8 here. And 3 3/8. These are my side pieces. These are the front and back. And then these are going to be for the top. Okay, so I need 1 of these that is 1 7/8 by 2 5/8. So we're going to go to 2 5/8. And then the other one we're going to cut at 1 5/8. Okay. All right. So those are the pieces that we need. All right. My fan that I have going is blowing my stuff everywhere. Okay. So this one's going to go here, and actually this is how this is going to go. So we're going to put one here, which isn't right. Let's see, what did I do wrong? Oh no, because it doesn't go there. It goes here. And then here, and here. And then we're going to put this one here. And these 2 are going to go like this. Okay, so when you go to put these on, when it's laying flat, the stripes here need to be up and down, where the other ones need to be right to left. And that'll make sense to you in just a minute if it doesn't at the moment. So I'm going to go ahead and put these on. Like so. And if you wanted to make these boxes right now, and you have the More Than Autumn and you want to do some different decorations, I did use the Weekend Adventure paper to make this box as well, and I will try to remember to show you that one, because the Weekend Adventure paper is available right now today, along with the More Than Autumn. And the More Than Autumn suite does have a leaf in it, or you could of course use any leaves that you have in your current collection. Or you can decorate it however you like. That is totally up to you. Okay, so we're almost done here. Trying to hurry this along so we can get to the second project in a decent amount of time. Okay. So now we've got all that on, and we are going to let that dry for just a second. And while that's doing that, we're going to go ahead and trim out these little tabs. Okay. And that's just going to take some bulk out of our box when we fold it up. And this is why I did my tear tape first, because it's easier to put a straight piece of tear tape on than it is a pointed piece. Okay, so if we do it this way, it just goes a little bit easier for me. All right, so there we are. Now this box is ready, and we'll take the tear tape off. I like to remove all 4 at once, but you don't have to. You could do 2 at a time. I like to just be able to do this. So we're going to fold everything toward the large rectangle. So we're going to fold this in and put the cut line to the score line, and do the same thing on this side. Cut line to the score line. And then we're going to take this side over here, fold those flaps in, and repeat that cut line to the score line. Okay? And then we'll burnish with our bone folder so that that will stay together nicely. That tells the tape, hey, yes, you're supposed to stick. Okay, so here's our box now. We can fold those in. I like to fold the smaller in first, and then I'll fold the larger ones like so. Okay, so we've got our box. Now we're going to take our label here from the traditional labels dies, and I'm going to take some tape, and this is going to go centered here. So I don't want to go past this point with my tape. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this, go about 2/3 of the way. And I put quite a bit on because this is going to be how you open the box, and I wanted it to be on here nice and strong. Okay, so then we're just going to take and center this up as best we can. Give that a press. I can open it with that, and then I can take and open that up and burnish it in really well. Okay. Now to this, we're going to add our donuts. And this is how this is going to go. Kind of like that. Okay. So I'm going to put this donut down flat. And I'm just going to slide it under here. This donut is going to go on dimensionals, but I'm also need to slide this under. So I'm only going to put dimensionals on 2 sides, and then the 2 sides that I put those on, I'm going to let that sit for just a second, and then I'm going to put dimensionals on here. And yes, paper has 2 sides, and you can see I've used it. So I'm going to put a dimensional there to hold those together, and then one here and one here. I'm going to add this to the top of my box, my label right here like this, making sure that I keep this within the boundaries of the side. And then I'm going to take the backings off my donut pieces, which I've already done, and I'm going to slide this donut underneath the acorn, situate it how I want to, and then give it a press. And then to ensure that everything is nice and solid, I'm going to take that, open it up, and give it a good press. Okay, this is almost complete. The last thing we need to do is add a little bit of linen thread. But we are not going to add just any linen thread. We have some early espresso and old olive linen thread pack that's coming. So I'm going to take a little bit of the early espresso. I'm going to get my bow jig and find where I looped this. Do a small double bow here. Okay. And then we're going to take and add this with a glue dot. Let's grab our glue dots. I'm going to take my bow to the glue dot, give that a good press, and I'm going to take my tweezers and pinch that with my tweezers. And then I'm going to add that to the top of my acorn, right there, like that. Okay, and so I can give that a good press. I'm going to open it up, and there you have it. Okay, so here's our donut box with the donuts in it. I forgot to grab another container of donuts off the kitchen table. So we'll put this in. Come on. And here is the one I made out of the weekend adventure paper. Okay. Oh, this one looks like I jammed it up a bit when I put things in the bin. So anyway, that is with the adventure paper that is available right now. Okay. So there you have project number 1. I hope you enjoyed that. Remember, you can get those donuts, those Hostess donuts to go at Costco. It was like $10.79 for the pack of 32. I'm going to put this out here for just a minute, so while I get the next project ready to go. Okay. So let's grab those supplies, and I need some more of those. I need some ink pads the same. Okay. So this one has very little supplies, actually. Let me take that away. Hopefully you had time. We're going to use the streaked dots. This is coming in the September to December 2025 mini catalog. It's part of the Autumn Toile suite. We're going to be using Etched Autumn. This is a background stamp, and this is from the September online exclusives. And then I'm going to be using tags to go. As I've used this a couple of times in the last couple of weeks, and this is on the last chance list, and it's on a good discount. So if you don't have it and you want it, be sure to get it. We're going to use this tag right here. I will have to cut that, so I'm warning you ahead of time. In fact, let's go ahead and stamp that and get that done right now. Okay, so we're going to take from our sentiment is from the Gathering Moments. What did I do with that? From this Gathering Moments stamp set that we used on the last project. And we're going to take the Early Espresso ink. Let me grab my ink pads so I've got them a little bit closer. And we're going to take Thankful for You. And I'm going to stamp this right in the middle, and I hope I got this white enough. If not, we'll find a bigger piece of paper. I'm hoping this is going to work. And then we're going to take this little tag from Tags to Go. Because this isn't a photopolymer stamp set, I needed to do it in this order. I think this is going to work. It's going to be okay. And I'm going to put this as far to the left as I can. Center that in there. Take a piece of tape and secure that. And then we'll run that through our mini Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine. This thing has really gotten a workout in the last week. I've been using it a lot. Okay. Oh, that was barely. Did you see that little teeny tiny strip I had left? Doesn't matter how close it is as long as it works. So there's our tag for our card. Now, what we need to do with the rest of it is we need to take a piece of, we're going to use masking paper, and I'm going to hope it works. Actually, no. I didn't have a piece. Yep, I'm going to have to use the masking paper because I did not bring copy paper in here. Okay. Silly me. Okay. So we're going to take a piece of masking paper. And let's see if this is 5 inches. Yep. Okay, I'm good. I need a piece that is 3 3/4 by 5. Okay. So we're going to cut this. I'm going to make sure this is 5. Yep. And then I need 3 3/4. Okay. So I've got that. Now, we need to take this large die. My friend Tracy challenged me to figure out a way to use this on a card. So I am. And we're going to cut this out. So let me grab the Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine. I need the big boss. Okay. So we're going to put this in here, center it up as best you can. And actually, I think for this one, I did my other one straight up and down. For this one, I'm actually going to turn this at an angle, like so. Okay. And then I'm going to put my top plate on, and I'm going to run that through. And then we can set that aside because we're done with it. We really just needed it for masking. Okay. So now we're going to take this piece and set it aside because we don't need it and we can use it on another project. All right? And we're done with that die. Now the tricky part here is that I need to get Here we go. I need to get a rag, and I'm going to take the backing paper off of this. Our masking paper is pretty sticky, and I don't want it to rip my cardstock. So let's see if we can get this. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. Yes. Masking paper has a break in it, which makes it easier to get off. Okay. So now I've got this. I'm just going to take and set this on my paper here. I'm going to be careful with it though, because I don't want to rip these little pieces. And what I'm doing here is I'm de-stickifying it so it's not quite so sticky. Because as you can see, it's still sticking quite well to my fingers. Okay? So I'm going to do that a couple of times just to de-stickify that a bit, because I don't want it sticking that hard to my paper. Oh, and look, it ripped a little bit. You can't tell it on the front. Okay, so then we're going to take this. We're going to add this as best we can to a quarter sheet of cardstock. The idea here is to center that as best you can. So I would recommend setting it down on one end and then gently push that down. Okay. If you get a little wrinkle, don't worry about it. Okay? Because we don't care about this part here. All right, so we've got that. All right. Now we're going to take some ink and some blending brushes. So I'm going to start with pumpkin pie. And I need some post-it paper, post-it note paper, because I don't want to get, yes I do, never mind, yes I do. I don't need those because I'm doing it the smarter way today. I'm working smarter, not harder. So I'm going to take my pecan pie and a blending brush, and I'm going to put some pecan pie right there in the stem. Okay, good. I'm done with pecan pie. It's okay that I got it around the edge. Then I'm going to take some Mossy Meadow. And I'm going to just put a little here and there. Okay. And I'm going to go to the outside a bit. Okay. So I'm pretty happy with that. Then I'm going to add in some crushed curry. Okay. Then we'll move to Cajun Craze. I'm just going to fill in these edges a bit. Okay. And finally, we're going to have some cherry cobbler. Tracy, you're so very welcome. Thanks, you guys. I'm so glad you liked that box. Okay, so then we're going to put a little bit of cherry cobbler in here. And I'm going to go ahead and add some right there. And I think I want a little over here. Okay. And then, hang on. I'm going to get ink everywhere here and I don't want it. So let me clean that up just a little bit here. Because I don't need these colors anymore. I just need the cherry cobbler at this moment. All right, where did I put that rag? Okay, there we go. Now, I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to fill in with cherry cobbler whatever's left in the white space here. Okay. All right, now, right at the moment, that probably doesn't look like much. I'm going to set these ink pads aside, and we're going to bring in some early espresso and the etched leaves background stamp. Okay. And I've already got that positioned on my stamp positioning tool. Okay. Let me get my blending brushes out of the way. Okay. So I've got my stamp and stick mat here, and I've got a plastic cover over the top. And that's okay, because I'm going to look here. Well, actually, I'm good because see where I've still got ink from before. Come on. Pull off of there. Thank you. I'm going to take and line this up. And I made this so it should show right on these lines here. I want to go just about like this. Now, this is a full quarter sheet of cardstock, so it's okay if I'm not perfect on this because I can trim it down, okay? I just need to make sure that when I stamp this down, everything's going to stamp. Okay, so I've got that in there. I still have my mask on here. Okay, that's important. Keep your mask on. And then we're going to ink this up in early espresso. Okay, I'm going to give this a good inking. And then we're going to stamp this down. Okay, now remember you have a mask. So if you don't give this a good press around those mask edges, you're going to end up with halos, which is why we're using the Stamp Positioner tool, because we can take a look at this and we can see whether we've got some areas like right here where I might need to press a little bit harder. We seem to be good around here, and this looks to be the only, well, maybe here and there. So I'm going to put that back down, and I'm going to press a little bit harder right there in those areas. Oops, sorry. Okay, and now I think I've got it. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to lift up my cardstock and I'm going to put this on here and close this up because we're done with that. And I can clean it later. Okay. And then we're going to very carefully lift off our mask. Okay. This is the peel and reveal section. And hopefully it doesn't rip our paper. It's okay if the mask rips. I'm okay with that. Let me make sure my hands are nice and clean. I don't want to get fingerprints where I don't want them. So I'm going to very slowly peel that off. Okay. Whoops. Let's go this way. I see that one edge doesn't want to peel correctly down there, so I'm just going to start at the other end again and bring these there. That's not peeling right either. Okay, let's see what we can do here. We can get this to lift off. With my original card, I actually used a piece of copier paper and some temporary adhesive. This works a little bit better for holding everything in place. The problem is sometimes this masking paper wants to peel up because it's wet. It's wet with ink. Okay. So obviously I'm not going to use this mask again. That's okay. As long as it doesn't rip my paper, I'm in good shape. Okay, we're almost there. Almost there. Okay, and there you have it. Okay, now this I didn't feel needed much else. If you have a little bit of ink where you don't want it, you can bring in a white eraser and maybe get some of that. That doesn't want to come up. I could sand that off, but I'm not going to. I don't care that much. So now we're going to take a piece of early espresso, and this is a standard A2 card size piece of early espresso, 5.5 by 8.5. I think I just messed them up. Folded and scored at 4.25. Now I'm going to take and cut this down because I want this to be 4 by 5.25. Okay, so it looks like I did a pretty good job of centering that up. So I'm going to cut this at 4 1/8. And then flip it around and cut it at 4. And then for this one, I'm going to start at 5 3/8. And then finish it up at 5 1/4. Okay. So now my card front is ready for my card base, and I could keep these for something else, or I can toss them. I could put those on the inside of my card. So let's take this, and I'm going to add some Stampin' Seal. And then I'm going to add this to my card. Then I'm going to take my sentiment and some dimensionals. I'm so glad you like that technique. It actually makes quite a beautiful card, and it looks so simple. Okay, so I'm going to put this about right. I don't want to lose the shape of my leaf, so I'm going to put this in here. About right here, like that. And again, I'm going to bring in that baker's, or that linen thread, the early espresso linen thread. I went up bigger for the bow, but we'll see if that ends up being too big. I might have to retie it into the smaller size like we used on the box. But I'm going to try this bigger size to start. Okay. And again, that is in the upcoming mini catalog, part of the Autumn Trawl suite. And we'll get a glue dot. And again, our tweezers. And then I'm going to put that right over the hole in our tag. And there is our card front. Okay. Now for the inside of our card, I took the large leaf. I don't want that. I need a piece of, let's see, hopefully I have I keep grabbing the wrong things. Where is my container with my, well, I can't find it. It's okay. Let's take a piece of white. There it is. I set it over there. And it's okay because I didn't have any inside pieces left anyway. So I'm going to cut this at 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. Let's see. Yep. Let's go 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. You would not believe the mess I have made tonight. Okay. And then I'm going to take my blending brushes. And I'm just going to add some ink. With my blending brushes. The ink that's left on there. Excuse me. I think I got it out. And I'm going to huff on it. And put that leaf down there on the inside. And then if we wanted to, we could take one of these skinny little strips. And I'm just going to take and put it right at the edge. I'm just going to put a little tiny bit of liquid glue right along the edge here. Butt that up against the edge there. Press that down. Cut that off. and add it to the inside of our card. Okay, and there you have it. And then for your envelope, do the same thing with your leaf and stamp it on there, and then you'll have a matching set. Okay, everybody. I hope you liked those projects tonight. Remember, this has the chocolate donuts, chocolate frosted donuts. All right, so we've got all those for you for tonight. All right, I hope you enjoyed that. I will see you again, not next Tuesday. I'm taking a vacation next week. Ron will be on vacation and we have plans, so I won't be around. I live because I don't know exactly what we're doing each day. All right, everybody, I will see you week after next on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Thanks so much. Good night. Thanks for all the lovely comments. I appreciate those. Good night.